Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? I am in the LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, and waiting my flight. They're starting boarding in like, said 17 minutes. So I guess it's like 15 minutes now. And I'm sitting over here in a corner. So I got a Diet Coke. Okay, so I didn't want to talk about this yesterday because I didn't know if it was going to end up happening or not. But I went over to Trisha Paytas's house today, and she had invited me over yesterday, and she was like, come over before you fly out and we'll like hang out, and we can film a video if you want and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I cannot believe this is actually even happening. So I went over there today. She was so nice. I had just such an amazing time. Her apartment is beautiful. And it's kind of like a museum to Trisha. It's like got everything that you've like seen in videos and stuff. It's very cool. And it was just fun. She was very laid back. We just kind of sat and talked for like, excuse me, an hour. And then we filmed. I won't tell you where. You can wait until you see the video come out. She was like, we can film wherever. And I was like, but anyway, it was fun. And I was worried because I'm always worried that I'm gonna miss my flight. So I was worried that I was gonna miss my flight. So I was like, I have to make sure that I like, you know, get to the airport on time and stuff. So she had somewhere she had to go to. So anyway, I was only over there for like 2 hours, but it was super fun and I had a really good time, and I had a great time with Amelia, and it's just been a really fun trip. I miss my dogs. I miss Tanya and Alex so bad. And I'm just ready to get home. I've been texting Alex literally all day. I'm like, I miss you. He's like, I miss you too. And he's gonna wait up for me tonight, he said. So, well, he just texted me again. He's so funny. So anyway, he's been so sweet, texting me and sending me all kinds of little cute messages and stuff. And talked to my sponsor earlier, and it's just been a really good trip. But you know, every time like the last 2 times, every time I come out here, like I come out here all the time. It's been 2 times now. I've kind of just like realized, you know, like, I don't know. I love it. It's fun out here. It's fun meeting everybody. But I'm like Trisha was like, do you ever think about like moving out here? And I was like, no. Like, I'm just like, you know, we want to move to Florida and get a place down there and go back and forth between Florida and Indiana because our, you know, family's in Indiana. And she's like, I understand. She's like, you know, my family's out here and stuff. I was like, I want to collab with your mom so bad. I think that's in the video that we did. But anyway, so yeah, I was just, it's been fun. And I just went and got some treats, and I'm going to watch a movie. I don't know what movie I'm going to watch. My flight actually doesn't leave for 50 minutes. I know, right? But I still have a bunch of movies I need to finish. I didn't like watch a whole lot of movies while I was in my room. I didn't actually get to just kind of hang out in my room a whole lot, which I thought I would more than ever, but I really planned on meeting with Tia last night. I thought they would be busy for like 40 minutes and that'd be it. I didn't expect it to be like over 3 hours that we would be hanging out and stuff. It was so much fun. We had such a good time last night. And like everybody that I've met has just been so laid back, like Amelia, Trisha, and Tia. It's like everybody's just been like so just like down to earth and just like hanging out. It's so much fun. So yeah, so in the video you'll see this. I do with Trisha. She's like, take something. I always have people take something when they leave because I've got so much stuff. She literally has stuff like everywhere in her apartment, like, I mean, and things that you would want. And so when we got done filming, I said in the video, I said, I'll take something, but I'll show it in the vlog, and then people have to come over to the vlog and watch it. So I'll tell you what I'll show you what I took later. It'll probably be in the video tomorrow. Anyway, she was like, you can have anything, you can take a bag. I'm like, a bag? No, girl, like, I don't need a bag, okay, I'm good. I'm not taking your bag, you know? She's like, no, I have too much stuff, just take it, take it, take it. It was interesting, like, that part of her, like, I saw a completely different side of her that I don't know, she's like a real giver, like, she's just like, I give stuff away constantly. And she's like, I don't need all this stuff. And so just very real and down to earth. It was fun. We talked a lot afterwards too about just kind of like what I've done on videos and making like drama videos, and you know how that impacts them from the other point of view, and you know, yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was really nice. And then she took me outside and like, well, she took me down when I came up, like in where she parks. I saw her car and I was like, oh my god, it's the pink G-Wagon. And And then, so when I was leaving, she was like, well, I have to leave too. So she was like, let me just like drive you outside and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, then you can like, because I said I wanted to see the car. And she was like, then I can like, you can get a picture on the car if you want. I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, no problem. So I got to drive in the pink G-Wagon and we like drove outside. And so she was like, I wish I could take you to the airport, but I have this meeting I have to go to. I was like, girl, don't even worry about it. I said, my friends don't even pick me up from the airport. They'll be like, I'll send a car. And I was like, I love picking people up from the airport. She's like, I know, I do too. And so she's like, but I feel bad just leaving you on the side of the street with your suitcase, which I realized, I don't know where it's at. It's either in Trisha's apartment or one of 2 Ubers. I left my coat, my North Face coat that I had to have for the winter, which I always lose something on every trip. Last time it was my Icon hat, and this time it was, I'm not getting another coat. I've got enough coats. But anyway, unless I found one that was on sale, then I might. But winter's almost over, so I'll just wait till next year anyway. But she just like stood there and she was like, I don't want to leave you on the side of the road. I was like, girl, I'm right outside your apartment complex. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, just go, like, you have things to do. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm 46 years old, I think I can handle it. She was like, okay. She's like, I just feel bad. So anyway, but it was fun. We had a good time. And then Amelia was texting me, and she had such a great time last night with Shannon and Trisha, and it was so fun getting to hear like Trisha talk about like meeting up with them, and it was just a magical trip. It was fun. I had such a great time. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. I'm ready to start watching a movie. I'm excited to get on the plane and start watching a movie. So, all right, well, I'm gonna get off here now, and I'll probably film later, like on my way home from the airport maybe, or yeah, I might drop off my bag, and then I probably won't be able to fall asleep. You'd think I'd be exhausted, but I may not. So once I get home and hang out with Alex for a little bit, I may go back out and film for like half an hour or something, so we'll see. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll be back in a little while. Bye. Hello, hello, hello. It's me, and I'm back in my car. And I flew home. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I drove home, and I saw the dogs, and I saw Alex. She was like half asleep, and put my suitcase upstairs, and I was like, okay, so I didn't want to vlog on the way home. I was so tired. I was just like, I just want to relax and listen to some music. I called Tanya, and I talked to her for a long time on my way home. And so I was like, I haven't eaten today at all, so I'm gonna go to the grocery store here in a second and just get something that I can eat real quick at home, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So this will be a short vlog tonight. I'm just gonna vlog for probably like 20 more minutes or something. This is not the chapstick that or the lip balm that I wanted to pull out, but whatever. So, I don't even remember what I said earlier today. It's been like such a long day. I literally, in the last 2 days, have gotten like 9 hours of sleep. So I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow morning. And then I have to go run I have like a ton of errands that I have to run tomorrow. So I'm gonna do that. Can you believe that February is over as of tomorrow? It's crazy. I did leave my coat in the back of the Uber. It is confirmed. But I'm not gonna get another coat. It's spring almost, and I have enough coats. So, you know, I got a lot of wear out of that North Face coat, and I hope somebody else gets to enjoy it now. And Tanya was like, well, maybe you could contact the Uber. She's like, I'm kind of surprised they haven't called you. And I'm like, well, it was in the trunk because it was one of 2 Ubers, and it was either on the way to the airport, but I think it was actually on the way to Trisha's. And I don't even remember. I mean, I guess I could look in there and see which Uber it was, but having to have this poor guy like send it to me and all that, I don't even want to have I feel bad having them deal with that, so it is just what it is. But anyway, it's my stupidity. But I'll just get, you know, maybe another little light jacket next fall, and I won't worry about it right now. I'm charging my phone. My phone is almost dead. My dogs were so excited to see me. Oh my God, how is my camera almost dead? And I didn't bring my other, please tell me the battery is flashing. Please tell me I brought the other battery. Oh, thank God I did. I'll pull in here and change it just a second. I don't even have any idea how long I filmed at Trisha's. It seemed like I was just thinking about that. I was like, well, maybe I'll cut it into like a 2-part. Like, it wasn't even really an interview. We just sat there and talked about all different kinds of stuff. So I said, well, maybe later I'll do like a sit-down interview with you. And she's like, yeah, I would totally be down to do that. So she was so sweet. She was so nice. It's been kind of a whirlwind trip. Like, let me pull in here. Okay, I'm gonna change the battery. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm so glad I had that other battery. I almost took my backpack in the house, and then I was like, well, my wallet and stuff is in there, so I'm not gonna take that in there. I'm charging my phone, and my like phone cord was in there, so I was like, I'm not gonna take that in there. I'll just leave it in here. But if I hadn't left it in here, then I wouldn't have the battery. It's just been a really long day. This trip was really fun. It just was so quick, and like, I ended up doing a lot more than I thought I would. I gotta fix this because like the windshield is, no, because it's not, I don't have it on the windshield. It's 27 degrees here. It was like 60 something when I left today, but it doesn't really feel that cold, honestly. It just was like a rush, and I honestly have slept like really not a lot the last 2 nights, because the first night that I got there, which was that Monday night, I stayed up, I did all the videos for the different channels, and then like I was trying to get him up, and the Wi-Fi wasn't super slow, but it wasn't super fast either. And so I was trying to get those up, and I ended up going to bed late because I also knew that I wasn't meeting with Amelia till like 1. And I ended up like being like I got up, and I think I talked about this in the vlog. I like looked at my clock, and it was like an hour early or 40 minutes early or something. But anyway, so I stayed up late on Monday night, and then only got, you know, I don't know, 5-6 hours of sleep. And then on Tuesday, went and did all this stuff with Amelia, came back and took the nap, but like, I just was, I could have slept straight through the night. That's how exhausted I was. I need to just like get a really good night's sleep. I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow, but that's why I don't want to like vlog too much, because I want to be in bed by not too late. And so then like I went last night, I had such a hard time falling asleep, and I literally set like 8 alarms. So I was afraid that I was gonna like oversleep going to Trisha's. I was afraid I was gonna oversleep like to my flight. I'm just always like panicked about like missing a flight or anything like that. Even like, you know, like when Alex and I are going together, because he sleeps up till like the very last minute before we leave, and I'm always like he'll like in 15 minutes get ready to like walk out the door. He also packs like a week before, but I'm always kind of like panicked about that. So, and I got up this morning because like Trisha was like, you know, come over at 11 or whatever, and I was like, are you sure that's not too early? Because my flight, I have to make my flight. I was like worried that I was gonna like be late to my flight. She was like, no, you're fine. I'm not that far. You know, you can like, it'll be, you know, 25 minutes, something like that. And I was like, okay. And then so this morning when I got up, I started getting ready and stuff, and like at 10 o'clock, I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm getting ready. Just let me know when it's okay to come over. She's like, you can come over now. I was like, she gets up so early. I think she said she gets up like 5 o'clock or something. She gets up so early and starts getting ready and doing everything for the day. I'm just like, I think that's great. I'm just not that person, you know? It's kind of opposite, honestly, from the other YouTubers I've talked to. Most of the YouTubers that like I've talked to like stay up super, super late. Like I know Shane stays up really late at night. Like I think he's talked about that on videos actually. That like Rylan goes to bed and he stays up late and works and stuff like that. So yeah, my flight was good. From Los Angeles to Chicago, I watched Slender Man, which was actually a really good horror movie. It was better than I thought it would be. And it was pretty scary. I mean, it wasn't like terrifying, but it was pretty scary. I thought it was well done. And then I started watching the Alexander McQueen documentary that's just called McQueen, because I'm like such a huge fan of his work. And I wanted to see how they did it, if it would be like about his whole life or just like the end of his career before, you know, he took his life and things like that. It was a very tragic story, but really interesting too. And I related to so much of it in there, like just kind of like his attitude about some things. And there was a part where he like kind of like went down the rabbit hole of drugs and stuff like that. It was really sad. And he talked in there a lot about, like, he was always like, he always sought like validation and acceptance from the fashion community. And then there got to be a point where he just was like, I don't care anymore. Like, if they, you know, like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and if they don't accept me, they don't accept me. It was kind of like the turning of his career. Like, because like when he was working for like Givenchy and Gucci, he like got so criticized, and then he just was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that like wants to watch it, but like there's this one guy, and his name's Sebastian. So one of the things that was really cool, you know, is like there was like the House of McQueen, and he literally had like 20 people that he handpicked, and they worked with him like his entire career. And it was just really cool to see them all work together. And they all just would dress in like jeans and like, you know, like gym shoes or like Chuck Taylors or something like that, you know. And they were just like, and they would like take over Italy, and people were like, didn't really like there's this one scene when they go to like Italy. Is it Italy or is it in France? It's in France. And he's like working with this atelier, and she like doesn't really know what to make of them, and like she like starts trusting his process. And but the Sebastian guy like kind of talks throughout the whole movie about their friendship, and that like it was almost kind of claustrophobic at some point, because they would like work together like so many hours a week, and then like, and all of like the people like that they would work together, and then they would like go out and party together, and they would like go on holiday together and travel together. And he just was like, it was claustrophobic, like I had to get out, I couldn't do it anymore. And he was like, when he left after so many years, well, first of all, it was really interesting, and I never knew this about Alexander McQueen. Like, am I the biggest idiot? Like, I followed his stuff for years. I mean, he was like very close in age to me, so like from a very like young age, I followed his stuff. But I never knew his name was Lee. Like, nobody called him Alexander. It was actually this woman, and she's a huge part of his story. Her name was Izzy Blows, and she had been discovered by like Anna Wintour of Vogue, and then she also discovered what's his name, because they do a show at the end for her called La Dame Bleu. Oh shoot, the guy that does the hats, why can't I think of his name? I'm gonna say it's Timothy, but that's not his name. It'll come to me in a second. But anyway, and so, like, she was a big part of the story and stuff. I don't know why I was telling that. But anyway, it's just really... So she called him Alexander because she thought it sounded, like, better. And, but everybody calls him Lee. Like, the whole movie, like, the whole documentary, they just all refer to him as Lee. And what I really loved about it, I think, was that, like, he was this guy that just was, like, obsessed with fashion and, like, really could back it up. Like, had worked in these tailoring houses, like, when he was really, really young, and just wanted to learn everything that he could possibly learn, you know? And then, but, like, as he got more and more famous and became, like, a millionaire and was, like, really, really successful and things, he just wanted to live in the country. And there's like a part where he's like, I have to be around like nature and my animals. He like loved his dogs, like there's like one show he dedicated to his dogs, and he brought him out on stage at the end. And I don't know, he was just kind of like a normal guy. It was so sad. He was like always like kind of looking for love, and never really had great relationships, although they had a couple of his boyfriends, like long-term boyfriends, that were huge parts of the documentary. So what's interesting about both the Kevin Aquan documentary and the Alexander McQueen documentary is that their boyfriends actually, like, many of them worked for him or for them, and like were It's driving me crazy that I cannot think of that hat designer. I don't know why I can't think of his name. He does like really extraordinary hats. But anyway, I want to say Timothy, but that's not right. Timothy something, but that's not right. It's like I can see the last name. It's like E-A-H-Y something. It doesn't matter. But anyway, you know, and I think that must be difficult to have a working and a personal relationship, like a romantic personal relationship with, I mean, how would you like draw the line with that? There's actually a scene in the Kevin Aquan documentary when the boyfriend's talking and he's like, Kevin's in like a hotel room and he's like panicking about something, and he like calls his boyfriend to like fix it because he's his manager too, and his boyfriend's like, I'm asleep, like I don't know what to tell you, like you need to go to the concierge or something like that. And it caused like this rift between them. And then in the Alexander McQueen documentary, his boyfriend is talking about, this one like long-term boyfriend that he had is talking about that like after the like the first Givenchy show that he does, that he like it doesn't go well and he doesn't get good response to it, and he's like, yeah, like it was really bad that night. It's interesting. I love watching documentaries so much. I just find people fascinating, you know, and I find their stories fascinating, no matter like who it is or whatever. I sometimes can like watch documentaries about like just like one of my favorite documentaries. Well, first of all, the Wonderful and Wild Whites of West Virginia. That documentary just blew me away. I think it was also partly how it was done. It was done really well. But then there was this documentary, I've talked about it here before. I've talked about all these documentaries probably before, but one of them is called Stevie, that I love. It's about this guy, and he was like a big brother mentor to this kid, and then he goes back like 20 years later because he wants to see like what's happened to him. That one was really interesting. And then the one that's called The Queen of Versailles, that one is really good. And it's about this woman, and she was like Mrs. Florida, and she's married to this guy that owns like the biggest timeshare company in the world, and he's just financially not doing well, and they've lost like a ton of money, and they're building this house, and the house is so big that the White House could fit inside of their house, and their backyard is the like Lake Walt Disney or whatever. And she's just like no concept of money whatsoever. Like she goes to visit her hometown with a friend of hers, and when she's like at the car rental place, she's like, so where does the driver meet me? And the guy's like, there's no driver, like you drive yourself. And she's like, what do you mean I drive myself? Like there's no concept of like any kind of like reality. And then she like, for Christmas, he like tells her that she can't spend the same amount of money that she always spends. So she goes to Walmart with like her assistant, and they have like these 2 carts, and she's literally like she has like 5 Candyland games and 5 life. She just throws all this shit, and he's like, it's just like, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And that's just kind of a really sad documentary too. I heard they finished the house and they he ended up making a lot of money and stuff, and maybe there was some scandal around that documentary that there wasn't a lot of truth to it or something. I don't know. I heard something like that. I can't remember. I watched that years ago. A lot of people are like recommending like a lot of like really dark documentaries to me right now, and I'm kind of really honestly trying to stay away from some of that stuff. Like I'm trying for a little while, because there was a period where we're reading the BTK Killer's Daughter's book this month for true crime, and I still do love the true crime stuff, but it was almost kind of becoming like a little too much. Like I was reading the books, listening to the podcasts, watching like the documentaries, watching, you know, YouTube videos about all of this stuff, and I just, at some point it became like a little too much, and I was like, this is really dark. Like I want to, you know, not bring so much darkness in, and maybe, you know, read about some happiness, and like I'm still excited about reading that book, but maybe a little bit more in moderation, you know, like I don't have to, you know, consume so much of that, I think is a lot. I think it kind of like, it had been growing on me. And then when I watched that movie Hereditary on the way out there, it was like really dark. Like, I know a lot of people like recommended that movie to me, and it was actually a very interesting movie. And it's a movie that like, I wouldn't think would stick with me, like watching it, but it has stuck with me. Like, it's really made me think. And, like after that, like I was actually thinking a lot about that, like last night when I was like walking around Hollywood, and you know, it's like, if I watch a movie that makes me think, like the Alexander McQueen documentary, even though it ends so sadly, even though it has a sad ending, it makes me think in a positive way. It inspires me. It motivates me, you know? And that's great. And I mean, I love stuff that, you know, I love scary movies. I'm not going to stop watching and all that kind of stuff. But if that's all I'm consuming, then I think to some degree, like, it really affects the way that you think. It affects your, like, mood and whatever. So I have to kind of be careful of that, I think. Like, I just don't... Dark-sided! Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to, like, think about that all the time. Like, I don't know. I think I also start becoming a little immune to some of the stories. Like, you know, when you start, like, reading a lot about serial killers and listening to all the podcasts, it's kind of like, to some degree, there's a lot of, similarities. I don't know. And then, you know, also in watching the RuPaul interview on Oprah, when he said he doesn't watch any scary movies, like any horror movies, because he doesn't like, I was like, you know, that's interesting. Like, I'm not going to stop doing that because I enjoy them too much. But like at the same time, I don't know. I don't love, like watching movies about the occult, especially if it's like Slender Man was even about that a little bit. And I was like, okay, this is now 2 movies. Like, I don't know. But I don't really love... Well, I was going to watch The Old Man in the Country or whatever that Robert Redford movie was on the way back, but I kind of wanted... That's why I watched Slender Man. I was like, I want to watch something that's kind of like a thriller or something, you know? There were a couple other movies I had picked out, and I was going to watch Boy Erased. I still haven't seen Beautiful Boy. I was going to watch that, and I was like, I just don't want to watch something that's, like, super depressing. So I watched the Alexander McQueen documentary where he takes his own life, and I watch a horror movie, which doesn't end well either. Not that that'll ruin it for you, because it won't, but... Yeah, Peter, you picked some great ones. Oh, well. Oh, my Lord. I'm going to go up here and turn around, and then I'm going to go to Meijer and get something to eat, and that's when I'm going to end my vlog, because I'm tired. Then I can go home, and while this is rendering, I can eat my food, and then I can go to bed, and I'll be in bed by... no later than 3. And I can sleep till like 10. That's a good night's sleep. It's nice to be home. I was telling Tanya that. I said, you know, it's so... Like, I got in my car and it was like, I missed my car. You know what I mean? Like, I missed my car. And just driving around, and... this, just like being on a... I mean, I'm not even on a country road, kind of. I'm like in a suburban road, you know? But there's like nobody out, and I don't know, it's just like... Do you know, this is gonna sound so crazy. Like, this is where like the social awkwardness and my social anxiety like really affects me. Like, I often get very like if I'm walking down a street, like I was last night with like Tia and her boyfriend, and I was like, we were walking out by all the gay bars, and I was like, this is kind of fun, you know, like I never do this. Like, I feel real like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I feel really, I don't know, like excited and in the moment, having fun, like when I'm walking by all that. Us just sitting there was so nice, because that's what I really like to do, is just kind of be loungy and sit, obviously, and talk. But it really zaps my energy. Like, lots of people and loud music and all that, it really zaps my energy. And, I'm gonna turn around here. Is this where, I'm gonna turn around the next thing where I'm gonna see that house up here. Because they were working on this neighborhood last time I was out here. But it really zaps my energy sometimes, I think. It's just like, and then like, I go from like tons and tons of people to like no people, right? And so it's like nothing, you know? And I'm so used to spending, is that the house I want to look at? I'm so used to like spending so much time by myself during the day and stuff, you know? Or just with the dogs, that I'm so low key that like that's like on a level of its own, like it's different. And I'm sure there are areas of like Los Angeles that are not like how West Hollywood was, because like even walking back to the hotel last night, it's very quiet through there. There's like, oh my God, some gorgeous like apartments, buildings are just like really nice. I'm sure they're just pricey as hell. But like in Miami, like once you walk off Ocean Drive and like South Beach, it's pretty quiet. Like, I mean, it's really pretty quiet. Like I mean, even at, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, if you're like off of Ocean Drive or, you know, Collins where the bars are and stuff like that, it's pretty quiet. And definitely where like the apartments are and stuff, like 5 blocks up. LA, like there's always kind of, it seems like something going on. I mean, unless you're maybe like out in the suburbs and stuff. It was interesting, like all of the Uber drivers that I had, like most of them lived in the valley, which I thought was interesting. I'm such a talker to my Uber drivers. I was thinking about doing a whole video on what I learned about Uber drivers in LA. It was so funny because there was this one woman that I had. She was so nice. I literally, like, I think almost every Uber driver I've had on the last 2 trips was so nice when I talked to them. I mean, there's been like 1 or 2 that just didn't talk at all, but other than that, like they were really nice. And so this woman and I, like, we really hit it off talking. She was like my age, so she was going to turn 50, and she had like a little peach sweater on and like a scarf wrapped around, and she looked like, you know, I don't know, mother of 3, like, you know, kids in middle school or something, living in the suburbs. And it's a real cute car and stuff. And I said to her, I always, like, you know, ask the drivers, I'm like, do you ever get scared, like, when you're driving, does anything, like weird happen? And it was interesting, because none of them really said yes. Like, they all were like, no. I mean, like, the drunks are bad, but, like, if they puke in the car, they have to pay $250, which I think is a lot of money. My God, can you imagine? So, I think one of them said $150 and the rest of them said $250. So anyway, I said to this woman, she was so calm. We were talking about like music we listened to back in the day when we graduated from high school and stuff. She was just so normal. And then I was like, do you ever get nervous like driving at night? And she was like, no. She was like, I really haven't had any, you know, people be like real weird to me or whatever. And I said, oh, that's nice. So it's not that bad. And she's like, no. And I go, do you ever get scared that something weird's gonna happen? She's like, no, I'm not scared at all. I go, really? And she goes, I got a taser gun over here. She's like, so if anybody comes from, I was like, oh my Lord, you have a taser gun? She's like, I have a taser gun, and if anybody comes from there, they're just gonna get tased. I was like, okay. And this girl that drove me last night, showing all about her singing career. And then she started singing. She had a really great voice, actually. She gave me her SoundCloud, or not SoundCloud, Spotify, and all that stuff to go check her out. And then the guy today was about my age. He was real nice. That was on the way to Trisha's. And the guy from Trisha's to the airport, he didn't speak English at all. And he was like really nice, but he was very confused, and he kept on telling me to slow down, like when I was explaining to him where I needed to go. So, but he was really nice. I think I would be scared to drive an Uber. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's no different than a taxi, right? But it almost kind of feels like that, because it's like your car, you know, like, I don't know, like, oh, it's gonna stop, hold on. I can't even believe I've gone that long. But, you know, it feels like it's your life. I mean, it is your car, so it feels kind of like, you know. This one guy today, the one that was taking me to Trisha's, he was like, I said, how many hours a day do you drive? And he goes, oh, anywhere between 12 and 18. I said, 12 and 18 hours you're in this car? He's like, yeah, I go home for lunch. And he's like, you know, I sit there and just, you know, have my lunch and whatever. He's like, but then I go back out. And he was like, I make really good money. So, I don't know. They all of them seem to have other jobs too. I can't imagine having another job and then working like 18 hours on your day off. God. But I guess you do what you have to do, right? Well, he told me that he was doing it because he was starting a business and he was like raising money for it. I was sitting there, I was like, I want to do a series, almost like Taxi Cab Confessions, but from the other way around, where I like record these Uber drivers and at the end of them I give them like a, you know, a signed consent, like, let me tell their story. That would be an interesting video, don't you think? It'd be so easy too, because every night I could just get into a different Uber. I could literally just call an Uber on like a half-an-hour drive and just record the whole thing. But then what if like every single one of them was like, no, you can't do it. And then like I just was taking these like worthless Uber driving. But I think it's a good idea actually. I could do like Uber karaoke too, like car karaoke, carpool karaoke, where I see like how many of the people I can actually get to like do karaoke and sing with me. That would be so funny, wouldn't it? It's stupid. It's so stupid. I know, it's a stupid idea. You know, I love hotel bedrooms. I love hotel beds so much, but because I love a really like tightly made bed, and then like I pull the sheets out, you know, in the end. But I only like use like, I always get a king size bed, and I only use like one half of it. I mean, unless, you know, obviously if Alex is there. But I really missed my bed. Like I was laying on the bed talking to Alex and like playing with the dogs and stuff tonight, and I was like, I miss my bed so much. I love my bed. I have such a comfy bed. Next trip, Miami and Mexico. I'm super excited. I can't wait. It's gonna be real fun. I don't really know what I want to eat. I might just get some of those, what are they called? Baby Bell cheeses. I'm hungry, but I'm not like super hungry. So yeah, it was a really fun trip, and I'm glad I went out there. And Amelia's attitude just about like life and everything is just so inspiring, and she's just so honest, you know, like just about who she is as a person and how she lives, and learning from experiences and mess ups and stuff. And like we had such great talks, like off camera, on camera too. But I told her at the beginning, because we talked for like 45 minutes before while she was putting on her makeup, I said, I really, like, at the end, I said, I really wish we had just filmed that part at the beginning, because it was really, like, that would be fun for people to see that, because that was such, like, just, you know, back and forth, and it wasn't, like, in front of a camera. And she was like, yeah, I wish we had too. And that had kind of been my intention when I walked in there, that I was just going to, like, turn on the camera, and then, like, whatever came out of it was what I was going to edit and put on the interview. But I didn't end up doing that. But I ended up having, like, the first part of the interview was 47 minutes, which, by the way, okay, so at the end of the video, like, it just stopped. So she reached over to push record again, and because she was, like, closest to the camera, and so she hit, like, some button, and then she's like, I can't turn this thing off. And I was like, don't even worry about it or whatever. So then she turned the camera. She was like, no, I want to turn it off. So she turned the camera off and she turned it back on again. Then she hit something else. Well, I like went in there, and it must not have been on for the last. We had the last minute to 3 minutes that wrapped up part one. So literally part one of the interview just stops. I know, right? So then there's part two that's coming out. It's shorter, but all in all, I filmed like an hour and 15 minutes of video with her. And then I don't know how long the video is with Trisha today. It seemed long. It's like it's at least a half an hour. It's not an interview. It was just us talking. But it was fun. It was weird, like, you know, like I watch her on video, and it's like I see like the peak. If you saw my pictures on Instagram, I took pictures like she let me, like, she took me out, and so then she took pictures of me like in the pink G-Wagon, because I've talked so much about that and stuff like that. You know, it's weird, like seeing that, I don't know, it's just kind of like even really demystifying, like meeting some of these people, because like I've watched them like on video, and they really, love them or hate them, they just really are to me like creations of video, like, you know what I mean, like they're almost like characters that don't seem real. And then to like be sitting in her apartment just like talking to her, or, you know, sitting in the G-Wagon that I've seen in like all these videos, it seems surreal because she just is really that normal. I mean, it really felt with like I could be, I said this a couple times in my, she reminds me of my stepmom. It was weird, like, just like even the way that like her apartment is decorated kind of reminds me of my stepmom a little bit. Well, just like the way that our basement is, my dad's house is decorated. I'm sure this huge like couch and then this big table, and it reminded me of my dad's basement. And yeah, but she just is so like down to earth. Like her apartment smelled so good. I kept on saying, I was like, it smells so good in here. She's like, well, I've got all these Bath and Body Works plugins, and but it smelled kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like she said what it was. Like one was like chocolate raspberry, which I didn't smell. It didn't smell anything like what she said it was. I don't know what she said it was, but it didn't smell like that at all. It smelled like gingerbread almost. It smelled so good. And Amelia Fart, straight up, smells so clean. She smells so good. I every time, like, because we hugged like 10 times, I'd be like, you smell like, what is that hair shampoo? What is that shampoo that you smell like? And because her hair was like soaking wet straight out of the shower when I got there. And so I finally looked it up. It was like, we used to all use it in high school, and it's Aussie hair salad. Do you guys remember Aussie hair salad? Okay, so that's what Amelia Fart smells like, Aussie hair salad. She smells really good. And just beautiful skin, like in beautiful teeth. I don't know, it's fun to do all that. I like doing different things on my channel. I was talking to Trisha about that today. I said, you know, I want to do some different things. Like, I don't want to stop doing the drama, but I think I want to do it in a different way. Maybe do it in a different spin, you know? And I don't know. Try some different things. Never know till you try, right? I always think that house is so bizarre saying there. It's like this A-frame house that just like sits on like the side of the road, and it just seems so random right where it is. They always have all these like lights that look like they should be Halloween lights, but they're not. Alright, you guys, so anyway, that was just a little catch up on the LA trip. I'm glad to be home. Tomorrow, I'm like losing my voice. Can you guys tell? Tomorrow I will do a longer vlog. I'll try to vlog throughout the day, and we'll have a little discussion about I don't know what. So it's nice to be home. My dog's coming running down the stairs was so cute when I walked through the door. And Boo Radley was like the one that was like the most attentive to me. He was so funny because I like laid on the bed. He was like all over my face. He was so sweet. And PB like got on the bed, and then he just like immediately, like I put my arm around him, he immediately just like sat there and like put his head down. He just was like so happy. Like he's happiest when Alex and I are both just there, like laying in bed. He's like the most content. I think he's like, okay, everything's fine now. Now I can go to bed, you know? So anyway, I love those little guys so much, and I just feel so blessed to have the little family I do with Alex and the dogs and my immediate family and Tanya and everybody, you know? And my other close friends. I feel very blessed tonight. So, all right, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I love you, and in case nobody's told you today, I love you, and have an amazing day unless you have other plans. Bye. I do want to say this, because if I don't say, is it like not focusing or something? There's like this thing floating all over. I do want to say this, because sometimes if I don't say, I'll see you tomorrow, people are like, you didn't say I'll see you tomorrow, or you didn't say goodbye, or you didn't say this. So, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. if nobody's told you this today, I love you, and have an amazing day unless you have other plans. And I get a lot of requests from time to time if I could go in and talk more about this, or if I could go in and talk more about that. If you guys have if you made it this far, that means you're somebody that watches my videos fully. Thank you, I appreciate it. Put a little blue heart. If you have like requests for something I've talked about and you'd like me to go more in depth on it in here, or talk a little bit more, tell more of stories around that, whatever, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do that. Because sometimes I don't know what you guys want to hear more about, you know? And I know it's a vlog, but at the same time, I still like to kind of talk about some of that stuff so that you guys are interested in. So let me know, and yep, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.